If you do these 5 things every single day for the next 5 years, you would have built your own future success without even realizing it. As aspiring music producers, it's so easy to hope and dream about the times where you're working with your favorite artists, you're making lots of money off of music, and you're just living your dream lifestyle. But one thing that's super overlooked by all these aspiring producers is what it actually takes to get there. And when these steps are broken down, it's actually a lot more simple than people think, as it all comes down to what you do every single day over and over again. Let's waste no time. Let's get straight into the video. Now, we say you need to do these things for 5 years just as a general rule of thumb, as a lot of music producers, including ourselves, thought we're going to be making a lot more money a lot faster. But what we've realized is it takes a lot longer than we think to start working with the artists you want, get the opportunities that you want, and in general, just make a living off of your music. We've got some examples of some producers here just to give you a rough idea of how long it actually took them from when they started to put themselves and their music online until the point where they started to get some traction and started to get their name blowing up a little bit. Now, firstly, we've got Kavi, who's absolutely killing it right now. However, we track back to when he first started posting online and doing music, and the first beat we could find was posted back in 2017, and it was trash. Now, he could have been making beats 1, 2, or 3 years before this, which just goes to show he's probably been making beats for around 10 years now, and it's taken him 10 years from starting to get to where he is now. So the success that he's got now definitely has not come easy. Another example of a producer who's just slowly worked their way up in the music industry is Benny X. Now, we found out through a video that Benny X is actually a very musical person and has been around music his whole life. However, the earliest thing we could find of Benny X posting on social media was back in 2016 on his Instagram. Now, obviously, he was probably making beats before this, and again, we could probably say that he's been making beats for at least 10 years. But it wasn't until 2021 where he got signed to Working on Dying, and that's when his career really started to take off, which is around the same time where he started working with Yeet. And the rest is history. You see him today and he's releasing his own music now and basically just turning into a super producer. But then when you look behind the scenes, it's taken him at least 10 years to get to where he is now. And our final example, the producer Prod by Zell. Now, a lot of people know Zell today as Nemz's main producer, and he's gained a lot of popularity and success from that. But even for Zell, when you track back 5 years, he was posting trap type beats. The 808s weren't even always on key. He was probably making beats a lot earlier than this, but from when he first started uploading type beats, 5 years later, he's probably one of the fastest growing UK music producers. And that's taken him at least 5 years from being in the same shoes as you, just posting type beats on YouTube. Now, none of these guys or any other top producer in the industry started out as musical geniuses. We think they're in a whole nother game. They know some sort of secrets, or they've done something differently to us. These guys are the exact same as you, and all that separates you from them currently is they've been in the game for far longer. Now, we're about to get into the 5 things that you need to be doing every day for the next 5 years to actually reach your musical goals. But firstly, we need you guys to understand how important the formula of repetition and time is, as you can make this formula work for you, or it can work against you. If there was a secret to success, this is basically it. Firstly, we saw this on somebody's story recently. If you have 1,000 songs that all make $10 each per month, that's $10,000 a month. Now, obviously, it's not that simple. 1,000 songs is a lot, but you can break that down again and think about if you were to get even 50 to 100 songs per year. The longer you stay in the game, the more songs you've got, the more money that you're going to be generating. Another example is that if you were to make one beat or sample, idea, or anything every single day for 5 years, you'd have 1,825 samples, beats, or whatever you've created. That's a lot of music. But also, this formula can work against you when you decide to be lazy or let your unmotivated feelings get the better of you. When we did this calculation, we couldn't believe it. Now, let's say you've got 2 days a week where you're not feeling creative. Could be during the week, you get home and you don't really feel like cooking up anything. 2 days a week over 5 years is 520 days. Now, that's nearly a year and a half in 5 years. If you really let that sink in, for us, it's almost just like a scary thought to think that just 2 days a week over 5 years is 520 days of nothing. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. The best time to start was 5 years ago. The second best time is right now. Start now and understand that it's what you do in your day to day that determines your success in 5 years' time. So if you stick to the plan, there should be no way you can fail. Here's the plan.
The first thing that we all need to be doing as producers, this is a non-negotiable, of course, creating music every day. It's the fundamentals of being a music producer, of course, but it's so important that you actually create every day. By doing that, you're working out this muscle of being able to create new ideas and finish them off so they're a final product you can send out and make money off. So create at least one beat, sample, or some sort of idea throughout your day. I'm sure you're capable of doing 2 to even 3 beats, but the main idea here is just at least getting something down, working on the habit, creating your sound. This is the best way to become a better producer. 1 beat a day, of course, is going to give you 365 beats. Even if 3 of those beats or samples were absolutely insane, they were hits, that would be worth it in a way. If you can get 3 massive songs off that whole year of producing, that would be worth it. And that goes to show that you need to get those numbers, because not every beat, not every sample you make is going to be a banger and change your life. But maybe 1 in every 40 things you make has that true potential to do something big. Something we've realized recently is that you can't make too much music. There's never a point where you have too many things to send out, too many different genres. It's not possible. As long as you're finishing things off, you don't want a bunch of unfinished things. That's one thing. As you're doing this every day, try to finish these things off so they are sendable. You can get them to people. You don't want a bunch of random ideas throughout FLPs. But whenever you have no idea what you need to do, you can always make music, and you should always be making music. Remember that whenever you're in doubt, make music, because the next melody, the next beat you make could change your entire life. So you need to just keep banging your head against the wall and do it over and over again. And we just made a video that's going to help you do this every day, help you be more inspired and creative. So we'll put that video in the description to watch after this. That is super valuable for this task. The next thing is practicing a skill every day. Whatever the skills you have allow you to bring more to the table in terms of networking with people, your actual music. If you can incorporate more things into your music, it can make it better. Here's some examples of some things you could do. 1, practicing an instrument. If you don't have any other skills you want to work on, practicing an instrument is one of the best things you could do. If there's any instrument around your house, start playing with that, or just buy a cheap instrument, a cheap keyboard or a cheap guitar or something that you're interested in learning. You don't necessarily need lessons. Just picking up the instrument and improvising, doing what you actually think sounds cool, recording voice memos. This is one of the best ways to learn. So for us, we implement this. Every night I'll practice my piano. Every day I'll be practicing my guitar when I'm recording loops. And Sean's practicing his sax at the moment, so we can incorporate that into our samples as well. You could read or learn about the more business side of things, a book on sales, a book on mindset. Remember, it's not all about the music. As a producer, you're running your own business as well, so there's skills in that department that need to be improved. It could be just practicing your drum bounces. You've already made your beat today, your sample today, but you really just want to practice working on getting better at your drums. So you do that for 10 minutes. You could practice learning your chords just on your MIDI keyboard, doing a bit of research for some new chords. You could be practicing singing. And the other thing is you can practice talking to a camera on YouTube or even just on your Instagram story. When we think about what talking to a camera has done in the past 2 years, it most definitely has helped us become better speakers, more articulate, more confident in front of camera. And as a producer, as you grow, you're going to be on interviews, you're going to be in other people's videos, you're going to be on camera a lot. So by making YouTube videos, this is a good way to level up that skill of being good on camera, because to be honest, it is a skill. So with all these skills, 10 to 20 minutes a day is all you really need. Please just choose 1, maybe 2 of these things max and stick to it every day. That skill is no doubt going to improve.
The third thing you need to do, and this in my opinion, even though the other things are super important as well, for me, this takes the number 1 spot. And this is networking, sending your music to people, and just getting your music out there for people to hear. At least one of these 4 things must be completed by the end of every single day. And on some days, it could be 2, 3, and even 4. I'll explain how we do it for each example. So firstly, we've got sending your music out to producers and artists. For this example, this is going to be through a sample list or a beat list. We send our samples out to different producers in different niches every 3 to 7 days or so. For us making samples, when we send it to type beat producers, there's a chance that a big rapper could use the beat, and then obviously there's also people buying the beat, which generates collab sales. And if you're a beat maker, this could be sending out beats to people who use your stuff quite often, which is obviously going to increase the chances of you getting more songs with more artists. Secondly is to connect with at least 1 new person. By 1 person, this could be a producer manager, an artist manager, an A&R, an artist or a producer themselves, or anybody that's connected in the music industry that you can provide value to, which would work vice versa as well. Having a range of connections, no matter what role they're in, is super, super important, and you never never know when just following somebody and just having a conversation with somebody could help you out in the future. Which leads on to the third one, which is sending to somebody with a particular purpose. These are the producers and artists that we really genuinely want to work with. Whether we like them as people or we like their music. When sending to these guys, everything is a lot more niche and it's a lot more of a personal connection that we're building and growing. And again, it's just a handful of people for us. We recommend the exact same for you so you can keep these guys close and personal and keep the relationship strong. And lastly, we've got uploading a type beat, a sample pack. Uploading some form of your music onto some platform where people can hear it. Now, we're not saying to upload type beats every single day. In fact, we'll probably advise against that, as type beats is something you need to stick with long term, and posting a type beat every single day can be very draining and take away from all the other tasks that you need to do. But even things as just uploading a snippet of a sample or a beat onto your Instagram story, posting a reel of you cooking up something cool, or anything else that you can think of where you're uploading some of your music where people can hear it. Out of these 4 things, like I said, just make sure you're doing at least one of these things a day. Obviously, you're not gonna be doing all 4 of these things every single day, as it's gonna be pretty hard to keep up with making all this music and sending it out every day, as well as you don't wanna be spamming people and also tiring yourself out when it's not necessary. Doing this step over years and years will open up the opportunities, the chances to get into producer groups, camps, get placements, just because you've been sending out music for years and years, and it's just all out there for people to use.
The next daily task that we do every day, and we recommend you do it as well, is taking care of your health and fitness. It's something we think is super neglected in the producer community. The producer lifestyle that we know of can be pretty unhealthy. Late nights, not much fitness, crap food. It's a bit of a shame to see, because if you have all these things in check, you're staying fit, you're eating well, and you're getting good sleep, it not only makes all this stuff easier to do, you actually just live a better life, and you will enjoy your success a lot more, because you'll be fit, healthy, making music, and making money. What's not to like about that? Just like how Gunner, he used to be a reasonably unhealthy guy, didn't really look after himself. 1 or 2 years ago, he decided to make a change. He's looking way better now. You can just tell, he even talks about it in songs. He's feeling a lot better, and simultaneously, his popularity is going up, his streams going up, everything's going up together. And that's what we think looking after your health, getting workouts in, does for you. It's kind of the foundation of improvement and discipline. And we think having a fitness pursuit, it doesn't need to be going to the gym. It could be a sport you do outside of music. Gives you something to automatically get out the way in the day and kind of get a win on the board. Because whatever happens in your day, your computer breaks, your inspiration's completely gone, you can always hit a workout. So do something active every day. We recommend obviously eating clean, getting your sleep in check. We promise this stuff's going to make you a better producer, and it gives your mind a break from being sat there staring at the computer all day. Also, it gives you a chance to listen to some music or listen to your own music, study, listen to podcasts. Some of the most successful guys in a lot of industries, but also the music game, prided themselves on just getting up and smashing a workout as part of their day. Just like 50 Cent, he's hit a workout first thing in the morning, before going to the studio, before going to meetings, pretty much every day for his career. Look after this side now, and in 5 years from now, you're going to be so glad that you were consistent. The 5th thing, we were thinking of starting this, but we thought we'd wrap it up with this. And this is constantly tweaking and fueling your mindset to make sure you stay in that winner's mindset. When you go throughout a day, there's going to be hundreds of little choices that hit you. You'll be making a beat, and then your phone lights up, and part of your brain's like, I'm going to go check that out, see what the notification is. Or you'll be about to practice your instrument, but then you're also thinking of finishing off this YouTube video you had going before. All these little decisions that come up throughout your day give you the opportunity to make that long-term, more disciplined choice and stick to the plan. Make sure all your things are done and not allow that laziness to get in. And it actually is a habit you can work on. So every day when you get those little micro decisions, choose the harder option, the option that's going to complete your daily goals. We talk about this a lot more in our recent video, Relentless Producers Make It to the Top 1%. That will get you locked in, so watch that video after this. And to add to this, these 5 things that we're talking about, do them all with your full attention and full purpose. A lot of people go throughout their days half-assing stuff, kind of in and out of things, but I promise you, if you put your full attention and you're all into something, the result is going to be a lot better. And imagine doing that over years and years, putting your full effort and attention and focus into things. That is the source. And when there's things that seem really hard, impossible to do even, you need to remember that if you really try, if you do put your all, your full attention to something, you should be able to complete it. There should be no reason you can't do it. And lastly, be patient. As we said at the start of the video, this is a long journey. Being a producer is a bunch of little 1% things that add up over years. But this fifth thing about fueling that mindset every day and making those little adjustments in 5 years is going to do a lot. Make the choice for your future self always. It's always your future self that gets a placement because of a beat you made even a year ago.
Alright, and to wrap this all up, we've put together a few figures, give or take some of the sections. This is the minimum of what you will have achieved. 1,825 beats and samples, probably and hopefully a lot more than that. Secondly, you got 420 hours of practicing an instrument, working on a skill. Again, there's room for a lot more hours. That's the bare minimum you've got. Roughly 9,125 DMs sent. Now, obviously, you're not going to be getting replies back from everybody, but that's 9,125 potential people to network with, to connect with, which is a lot of people. We've got 1,400 workouts, 1,825 days of constantly making micro decisions in your day that might be harder at the time, but will help your future self. The only real challenge about it is starting and then sticking with it every single day until you've got to where you want to be. Now, this isn't for everybody. There's only the 1% of people at the top that can actually stick it out for that long of a time. Good luck, but we hope to see you at the top.